Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. At the outset, am I audible? I want one of you to respond. Am I audible? Good evening. No one has responded? Yes, good. Today's editorial is all about potable water. Potable means drinkable, an important word, and the government scheme, how they have been doing, what are the shortfalls, what has to be done, and the data, whether it is reliable, not reliable. These are the dimensions touched. And today's editorial, a very short editorial, not it doesn't take a lot of time, and surprisingly, for the first time, not too many words. Only one slide and how many words? About 9 words, I suppose, 9 or 10, and some of these words are easy, familiar ones. What is the first one? Portable. Portable is an important word. I do remember in one exam they gave under one word substitutions, they gave portable, the word portable. One of the reasons could be there are two words which come under confusing words. One is a portable. Portable means so you can carry from one place to another place. But here you don't see the letter R, portable, part of speech adjective, and it goes with water, safe to drink or drinkable. Based on this, you have to recollect one word. What is it? Edible. Edible goes with food. Food you can have, we use the term edible. Water you can have, we use the word potable. It's all about potable water. Tenure, we have got tenure, part of speech noun, the period of time when someone holds a job during his tenure. We also use the word stint, we got the other day. Underline, a simple word. We all know the word underline. But here, underline means what? To emphasize. Underline something, emphasize something, a simple word. Impede is an important word. So far, I see two words which are worth remembering. One is portable, important from the exam point of view. The other one, impede. Impede means to block. Impediment, noun form. Block, hurdle, impediment, all these words are very important. Hurdle, they all mean the same. To make it more difficult for something to happen or more difficult for someone to do something. Either way, it is an important word. And you have to recollect synonyms like bottleneck, hurdle, impediment, noun form, hurdle. All these words are very important. Soul, one meaning, solely, another meaning. Solely means what? Adverb, only, and not involving anyone or anything else. Means alone in a way, solo flight, soul, solely, on someone's own. Hindrance, hurdle, bottleneck, very good, tapa. If you write that is always better. Underline, emphasize, underscore, very good, Anusha. Proxy, an important word. It has got two or three meanings. One meaning, someone works in your place, then you use the term proxy, or someone represents you, we use the word proxy. But in the context of the editorial, it has a different meaning altogether. Part of speech noun, a figure that can be used to represent the value of something in a calculation. So it has a different connotation altogether. Comply, we have got many a time, an easy word. And proxy, you have to remember. I see three words: portable, impede, proxy, worth remembering. And comply, we have got so many times now, it should not be a problem. Comply means what? To follow the rules and regulations. And compliance is a noun form, the act of obeying a law or rule. Easy, familiar. Overwhelming. When you guys, all the guys respond for my questions, I say the response is overwhelming. But unfortunately, the other day I gave some question. I brought some questions. I told you guys to answer in the comment section. Only three students answered, three or four. I would like to appreciate those students, but we have the regular students, they haven't responded. That is a bit disappointing. Overwhelming response, very great or very large. Disclose, we have got so many times. Disclose means what? Part of speech verb. To make something known publicly. You should also recollect the words like divulge, disclose, reveal, make public, unveil. All these are synonyms, important words. Surprising, only a few important words. I would say compliance, we have got many a time. Disclose, a familiar word. Overwhelming, a familiar word. Three words worth remembering. Sometimes it happens, I'm really surprised for two reasons. One reason, a very short editorial. Another reason, not even 10 words. Of these 10 words, only three words are important and go with effective English. Anyhow, we'll go to the editorial. Clearing the water. You cannot make out what exactly it means. Clear the water. Water. Imagine water is logged. Then we say clear the water. That is a different meaning altogether. But in this context, it is related to on piped potable water to rural households. But what is the main idea of this editorial? India must give a bigger push to scheme to deliver potable water. India, in the sense, the government of India must give. Again, we have got the helping verb must. It has two functions. One, to express a personal obligation. This is the opinion of the editorial, a personal obligation imposed by the editorial, by the writer. And the second one, to convey the idea something is compulsory. Here it is not the second meaning, it is a first meaning. India must give a bigger push to scheme to deliver potable water. They have to put in more effort to implement this particular scheme related to delivering potable water to especially rural households. When you go through the editorial, you understand. Access to. I always tell students, I tell them to read the Hindu paper every day, at least for 60 minutes, not more than 60 minutes, not at least 60 minutes, not more than 60 minutes. 1 second, not more than 60 minutes. And why do I say that? Why do I insist? One of the reasons, when you read the Hindu or any English newspaper for 6 months religiously, consistently, you're exposed to the language and you come across a lot of effective words, a lot of phrases, a lot of prepositional combinations, a lot of idioms, a lot of phrasal verbs. And you're exposed to a variety of contexts. In the exam, you come across the same words, same context. Then what happens? You can answer almost all the questions effortlessly. Your grammar does not come into picture. Contextual awareness, you can answer a lot of questions. In one exam, they gave a question based on prepositional combination. They gave the word access and blank. They gave the options per, to, by, whatever. And a person who reads the newspaper regularly, before he or she goes to the options, the moment he sees the word access, knows the preposition has to be to. And when you read, you come across the combinations as well. Access to, here, potable tap water, but regular combinations, access to power, access to CM, access to resources, access to information, access to money. So these are the combinations you get exposed to. Access to potable tap water is a basic necessity. Necessity is noun, and potable tap water is a basic necessity. I don't know how many of you know if you go to remote villages, especially in the northwest, they ladies they travel miles together with pots on the head and to fetch water. I've just used one word, fetch water. They travel miles together. And what is the meaning of the word fetch? Fetch means to go and get something. Usually it goes with children. Mothers go to a particular place to fetch the kids. And also you can use fetch water, fetch the magazine, fetch the newspaper. So based on that, access to potable tap water is a basic necessity. That is a categorical statement. However, contrasting information. You know that. Who is this Priya Kantu? Very good. Of the roughly 25 crore households in India in 2016, this information is quite interesting and useful. However, of the roughly 25 crore households in India, based on 2016 data, a tap water connection that delivers 55 liters per capita every day of potable water is a rarity in most of rural India, which accounts for about 19.5 crore households. Total, how many households in India, according to 2016 data? 25 crore. Of this, if you take 25 crore, of this particular number, 19.5 crore, let us say 20 crore out of 25, 20 crore belong to rural India, and they don't have a tap water connection that delivers 55 liters per capita every day of potable water is a rarity, a rare thing, a rare phenomenon in most of rural India, which accounts for 19.5 crore households. Account for, consider, responsible. Who is this? Daily on this time, sir, or only for this day? That I cannot answer today. Mohan Subhash, you have to wait for 1 or 2 days. Only then I can say something very clearly and categorically in August. So this is all about a scheme initiated by the central government, and the editorial talks about whether the scheme is feasible, not feasible, and what is the progress of the scheme, what are the shortcomings, what has to be done to make the scheme a success. In August 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised that rural households would be assured of piped potable water by 2024. That is a promise. Before his government's tenure ended, 2024 we have elections. Before that, he promised the rural households would be assured of piped potable water before his government's tenure. Tenure means the time a person holds office. When he made that commitment, that was a commitment, only about 3.2 crore or about 16% of rural households were so connected. At that particular time, only 3.2 crore or about 16% of rural households they had the connection to piped potable water. Look at the substantial improvement. Today, those figures stand at 64%. Phenomenal growth. Where is 16%? Where is 64%? A substantial increase beyond any doubt, but still below the target. What is the target? 100%. But at present scenario, what is the percentage? 64%. From 16 to 64%, it is phenomenal growth. But at the same time, it is short of the target. What is the target? 100%. In recent years, the Jal Shakti ministry related to water, which has labeled this plan, has labeled present perfect, this plan of providing piped water connections as a Har Ghar Jal missions has consistently underlined the scale of the exercise. Underlined means what? Emphasized this particular scheme belongs to Jal Shakti ministry, and they have given a name to this scheme. What is this? Labeled this plan of providing piped water connections. They give a name. What is the name? Har Ghar Jal missions has consistently, without any breaks, underlined, emphasized the scale of the exercise. Here, scale means magnitude, magnitude of the exercise. And providing 100% rural household piped water, potable water, definitely magnitude is very high. Since 2019, about 9 crore households have their own exclusive access to piped water. Data related to how many households have their own exclusive access to piped water. Based on 2019, about 9 crore households have exclusive access to piped water. This is apart from connections to village schools, Anganwadis, and community buildings. Besides means what? Apart from, you can also use the word besides. in addition to. Yet, here yet is used to show the contrasting information. Quite often students ask me, there are two conjunctions which express, there's so many in fact, but we consider but yet one pair based on the context. Both express a contrasting aspect. And what is the difference between but yet? But goes more with informal contexts usually. Yet goes with a formal context. And yet incomplete. Yet for all this scale, it is unlikely that all of rural India will be connected by 2023, as per Mr. Modi's claim. The growth is substantial, phenomenal. Yet, however, for all this scale, magnitude, it is unlikely, means chances are very bleak, that all of rural India will be connected by April 2023, as per Mr. Modi's claim. And why is it unlikely? The reasons behind. The next sentence talks about the reasons behind falling short of the expectations. The COVID 19 pandemic and the Russia Ukraine war reportedly caused the mission to slow down considerably. We all know COVID 19 made a tremendous impact on supply chain. And after that, when the economies were back on coming back onto the track, we got this unfortunate Russia-Ukraine war. And these two factors reportedly caused the mission to slow down considerably. Government officials claim that's what they say. And how did they make an impact? By impeding access to pipes. Impede means block, hurdle, bottleneck. Impeding access to pipes and civil construction necessary to the enterprise, to the venture. For this venture, they need certain material. One, pipes, obviously, piped potable water. So, what is essential here? Pipes are essential. Indispensable means important. And civil construction necessary. Because of pandemic, they could not do that. After that, supply chain, as I said, pipes and other construction material, they could not do because of Russia-Ukraine war. So the whole mission process has come down considerably. Realistically, it is unlikely that even 75% of households will be connected by this time. Target is 100%. Realistically, we also use the word practically speaking. Practically, it is unlikely, chances are bleak, that even forget about 100%, 75% of households will be connected by this time. It is unlikely. While this too by no means is an insignificant achievement, it is by no means an insignificant achievement. The challenge is the reliability of these numbers. 75% is a significant achievement beyond any doubt. By no means is an insignificant achievement. That means what? It is a significant achievement, 75%. But the challenge is the reliability of these numbers. There's a problem here. If at all they say 60%, 70%, 75%, it is definitely worth considering, the editorial opines. But the problem here, the challenge here, the reliability of these numbers. What is the meaning of the word reliable? Reliability. Reliable means dependable, but in this context, credible. You have to think of the word credible. Is the information authentic? Is the information credible? That is a big question mark, $1 million question. The editorial thinks. To substantiate that stand or statement, the figures reported by the Jal Shakti Ministry are solely based on data reported by states. And what is the source of this data? Solely based on, solely, only, and not involving anyone or anything else, based on data reported by states. Data, again, you have to recollect datum singular, data plural. At the same time, data can be a collective noun. One, proxy, an important word. Proxy means what in this context? A figure that can be used to represent the value of something in a calculation. Gullible. One proxy that presents a discouraging picture is the number of villages that have been certified as Har Ghar Jal, or having all houses fully connected. So there is a problem with the number. Discouraging picture is related to what? the number of villages that have been certified, as Harghar Jal, or having all houses fully connected. Some controversy over there. Only 168,157 villages have been reported, present perfect, passive voice, by states as Harghar Jal, and only 59,000, or about 35%, have been certified, meaning their Gram Panchayats have formally acknowledged compliance. Based on this Gram Panchayat acknowledgement related to compliance, 59,000, or about 35%, have been certified by the Gram Panchayats. And how many villages? 168,157 villages have been reported by states as Harghar Jal, but only 59,000 certified, mind you. The overwhelming fraction of villages, in this context, overwhelming, very great or large, the overwhelming fraction of villages have somewhere between half or three-fourths of their households connected. Not all of them connected. It says somewhere between half or three-fourths of their households connected. But the government claims 100%, 75%, whatever the percentage. An independent assessment commissioned by the Jal Shakti Ministry sampled about 3 lakh households in 13,300 villages and reported 62% households as connected in October last year. Exaggeration, good, right word. That is good, but too small a sample to be representative. What is the number? 3 lakh 3 lakh households. The editorial opines that is too small a number. That is good, but too small a sample. Remember an important expression: too small a number, too small a sample, standard expressions to be representative. Because the number is very small, it cannot be representative. We cannot rely on. It also emerges that the large states with 100% compliance, that is Gujarat, 100% compliance, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab, already started on a fairly high base in 2019. They had the base, high base. The center must put, how does the editorial end? The center must put in place a mechanism that discloses comprehension skill based on today's editorial. Before that, I hope there's no problem with the connection. Before that, what is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the passage is critical and concerned. Critical, at the same time, concerned. The author or the editorial expresses skepticism. Skepticism means what? Doubt someone or something. Skepticism about the government's ability to meet its targets and questions the reliability of the reported figures. There are two dimensions. The editorial doubts two things, doubtful about two things. One, the ability to meet the targets, one thing, and the other, the reliability of the reported figures. There is a call for greater transparency and accountability in disclosing the scheme's performance on the ground. They have to disclose whatever they disclose, it should be transparent and accountable when it comes to disclosing. That is a tone, critical and concerned. There are 5 questions based on this editorial. How many households are there in rural India? Who has consistently underlined the scale of the exercise? What is unlikely in the context of the editorial? There is only one word for you as a clue: unlikely. What caused the mission to slow down considerably? There are 2 factors. You should be able to write the answer. What is the mechanism that the center must put in place? Again, easy to answer. I have been quite busy since Saturday, tight schedule and some emergency. Because of that, no time. I could not bring the practice questions. Hope you will understand. Only for today. From tomorrow, you will have a regular pattern, the practice questions based on exam topics. But for today, editorial, analysis, vocabulary, questions, and recall, vocabulary consolidation questions. You got these words on Saturday, I suppose. So try to answer. Already someone has answered. Misadventure, part of speech noun, an unfortunate event or a mishap. Very good. Forethought, part of speech noun. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that, Anusha. Carefully thinking about future or carefully thinking about the consequences. Forethought. Sack has many meanings, but in the context of the editorial, the minister was sacked by the governor. Means what? Thinking before doing something. Hema, that's right. Not predict future. Forethought means think of future. Think of the consequences. When before you do something, you should have a forethought. That means you have to weigh the pros and cons. You have to think of the consequences. Dismiss from employment, very good, Tripura Sundari. Part of speech verb. And based on the context, the minister was sacked by the governor. The governor's grasp of the constitution, tenuous, editorial context. So, tenuous grasp, part of speech, adjective. What is the meaning of tenuous? Remove from or dismiss from employment. So tenuous means what? Thank you. I appreciate your response. Spontaneous. Tenuous, no one has answered. I have given the context as well. Tenuous grasp of the constitution. Weak, fragile, brittle. Who is this? Very good. Suresh Jaluri. I appreciate that. Weak, fragile, brittle. But remember, the words go with different context. Brittle goes with breakable material like eggshells, glass, fragile, weak, fragile environment, fragile health, fragile voice, you can say. Precedent, part of speech, noun. No precedent, there was a precedent. Means what? Something happened in the past, and that will be taken as an example to do something in present or in future. We go according to the precedent, an example. Abeyance, an important word, part of speech, noun, and it takes the verb keep something in abeyance. Means what? A similar situation happened in the past, you can say that Pavan Reddy. Already happened, you can say Abhinaya. Okay. Please go to past example. Okay. Better took something, previous incident, and used as reference. That's what it means. That's what I said. Happened in the past, that is taken for reference, and based on that, they try to behave in a particular way, either in present or in future. Don't ask new questions here, Tapa. I don't answer because out of context, if you ask what will happen, I know you, my student, I answer your question. Then what happens? Others will start bringing questions. Then we go off the track. Here, only related to this editorial. Please understand, Thapa. Once I answer, it happened in the past. People bring a lot of questions, not related to the editorial, not related to what I teach. Then what happens? If I answer, then we may not get enough time to work on the editorial one thing, and we may go off their track. That should not happen. We should always be on their track. I hope you got it. Drastic means what? Extreme. Part of speech, adjective. Have you answered? Temporarily suspended. Perfect. Perfect. Suspended temporarily. Good, Tapa. I appreciate your response. Prowess, an important word. Lack of prowess means what? Skill. Yes, Tripura Sundari. Skill, expertise. Also think of the word expertise. That's an important word. He is known for his prowess in the field of some field. Adept, very good, Suresh. I appreciate that. Skilled. Ah, that's wonderful. Who is this? Fanindra. Ah, in the when I started this way back in 2018 or 19, I'm not quite sure. Initially, I was also quite enthusiastic. I would answer the questions not related to the editorial. Then we experienced the problem. We had the problem. We ran out of time many a time. We went off the track many a time. Then I made a decision. I made up my mind. I decided not to answer any question not related to what I teach. Vested means to give the power based on the editorial. But a vested interest has a different meaning altogether. Here, confer power, authority on someone. Vest, part of speech verb. But 2020, you remember? Good. A vested interest, that is a different meaning altogether. Selfish interest with ulterior motive. Discretion, obviously part of speech noun. What I like here, many of my students and many those who attend my sessions, they're very polite, they're very understanding, and they respond immediately. If you observe, you must have observed, no one goes off their track, no one posts or comments something negative. Everything is positive here. We always have positive vibes the editorial session or other videos. Have you ever noticed? Everything positive. We don't delete. Very rarely, once in a blue moon, we may come across a negative comment. Rare, but usually everything is positive here. That is something highly appreciable and admirable. Domain means what? Thank you, Subramanyam. From Bhimavaram, am I right? You always wish. Oh, that's wonderful. We are your students. Domain means what? It is not the governor's domain to recollect the context. It is the CM's domain. Means activity, sphere of activity, or area of authority. Okay, that's good. Area under control of someone, that's also perfect. And domain part of speech noun. Please go to the next one, counsel. From this, we get the word counselor. But counsel has got two different meanings. One meaning a lawyer, advocate, attorney. But based on the editorial, what is the meaning? Counsel. Formal advice. Advice, you're right, Anusha. Formal advice. Governor, chief minister, obviously a formal context. Part of speech, noun. Yes, Tripura Sundari. Formal, that is a word I expect from you. Heed, we have got many a time. Part of speech, verb. It takes a preposition to. Pay attention to, focus on, take note of, keep in mind, remember, all these you can. Wonderful. Mandatory, part of speech, adjective. Mandatory procedure, what does it mean? More than important, mandatory, it conveys the idea compulsory. Exactly. Compulsory. Indispensable, important, essential. Mandatory, compulsory. That is the word you have to use, no other word. Stint, I said sometime back, if you remember. Tenure. Tenure, stint, one and the same. But subtle difference when it comes to the usage. During his tenure, that is one thing. During his stint at the center, tenure as a minister, tenure as a chief minister, tenure as a PM, but his stint at the center, his stint as a minister, combinations change. Particular period of time when someone is in power or someone is in a particular position. Launder, you have to recollect money laundering. That is the one we use regularly. So, what does it mean, money laundering? You get money illegally and you try to pass it on either through banks or hawala market as a legal thing. You try to convert illegal money to legal. That is known as money laundering. Yes, either foreign banks or hawala market, illegal activity. That's all for today. Hope these words are very important. Hope you guys are revising regularly all these words. Otherwise, impossible to remember. Please remember, learning is one thing, it is a prerequisite. But when it comes to competitive exams, the most important thing is learning is the first step. Revision, revise regularly. And when you revise regularly, what happens? You consolidate your information, your knowledge. That is the most important thing. Thanks for joining. And tomorrow, I'm not quite sure right now whether morning or evening. When you see the thumbnail, then you will come to know. Wait for that. And good night to all of you. Do remember to subscribe and share. Thank you. Thank you very much.